What's going on, guys? Today we're checking out the OneOdio Studio Max 1 wireless DJ headphones. These were sent to me by OneOdio, and even though I'm not a DJ, these have a lot of features that I think everyday casual listeners like myself and many others might like. But if you are a DJ, these can really be a great solution for you or even musicians because they have several different forms of connectivity. And basically you can connect them any way you want, which is really convenient. They come with this ultra low latency dongle called the M1 that, according to OneOdio, has 20 milliseconds of latency, which makes it a really good solution for DJs to use these wirelessly. You can just plug the transmitter through a USB-C or 3.5 millimeter jack and use these wirelessly and get really good latency performance. Even though that's not how I'm using them, they also have other wireless connectivity options. They even have LDAC for high-res audio. You can use them with Bluetooth, of course, if you're not using the dongle. And you can also use these wired with a 3.5 millimeter jack. You can also plug them in with a 6.35 millimeter adapter as well. So basically you have 4 different modes that you can use these in, which is just an incredible amount of variety, an incredible amount of options that you get for an MSRP of $170, which during Black Friday, these are actually down to $135. The high-res audio certification is actually wireless and wired, so you're getting dual high-res audio certifications. And in addition, you're getting 120 hours of battery life through Bluetooth. If you use the M1 transmitter, you'll get around 50 to 60 hours, which is still more than enough. But if you're just using these for casual listening through Bluetooth, 120 hours is as good as you can get, really. The only options I've seen that get similar, maybe the offering from Cambridge, also the AKG N9 Hybrid, I think, got around 100 hours as well. Gaming headsets are usually the ones that get over 100 hours, like the HyperX gaming headsets and such. So really good on OneOdio to give you that much battery life at a really good competitive price. Starting with build quality and comfort, these kind of remind me a little bit of the Audio-Technica M50s or even the M40s. Just the build quality is kind of similar. Also the way that these hinges are built, they just kind of remind me of those Audio-Technicas. And given that they're DJ headphones, as you can see, you've got swivel, you've got an insane range of different form factors to put these into. So obviously you see DJs always putting one ear cup up to their ears as they try to cue the next track. And these obviously allow you to do that. They're also super portable just because you can fold them up like this, swivel them this way, swivel them that way, swivel them outer. It's an incredible amount of range, and it has to do with these hinges that are pretty well designed. They are mostly plastic, so you can hear a little bit of creaking, but they feel really well built, to be honest. And you do have a metal headband. The metal headband does give you some security if you're a little bit wary about an all plastic build. These are not completely plastic. They have that metal headband. You're getting a nice leather material here on top with the OneOdio branding, and you have a nice red stitching that makes it feel a little bit more premium. The headband itself isn't totally cushiony, but you really don't feel it on your head. It has enough, and because these are pretty lightweight, you don't really feel the headband too much, and they are pretty comfortable at the top of your head here. The ear cups are a little bit hit or miss for me, just because, as you can see, they're completely circular. So at least for me, they're a little too small, but it's actually not too bad. If you have smaller ears, they'll definitely fit inside the whole ear cup. And these pads are really nice. They're a protein leather. They're not actually leatherette, they're a protein leather, which gets slightly less warm than a leatherette material, but they are nice and comfortable. You can see the foam is quite squishy, which is nice. So I really do like the ear pads. I just wish the opening itself was a little bit bigger, but that's just me. I have big ears, so that is what it is. The metal headband does have clicks, so you can remember exactly where you leave it, so that's convenient. You also get this nice drawstring travel bag which has a nice little fabric material. Opens up here, you could put your headphones in there. If you're a DJ, you can just travel with this, and the transmitter, and you're good to go, especially because this little travel bag has an extra storage compartment here. Pretty nice, especially for the price. OneOdio didn't skip in terms of giving you everything you need. In terms of sound quality, I can only give you my experience as a casual listener who has listened to pretty good sounding headphones in the past. These have kind of a safer tuning, I would say. They're definitely darker than like audiophile headphones. They have a lot of bass, very bassy actually. And they get even more bassy if you use this button here, which is also functions as a multifunction button. You can activate a bass boost EQ, which is just insane. Way too much bass. You basically can't hear any other frequency if you use that. So if you're a bass head, like you like the Skull Candy Crushers and like to turn it up to 11 or whatever it is, then that one might work for you, but not for me. I like a little bit more of a cleaner sound. And these can deliver pretty clean, clear audio quality depending on the track, but they are definitely bassy, and the bass region does overpower most of the other frequencies, but it's a non-fatiguing type of listen. So if you're just wanting something to listen to maybe EDM, these are really good for EDM. The songs that have like pounding bass, these handle really well with these 50mm drivers. They do a really good job on reproducing the low end. That's what you would expect from these, since they are technically DJ headphones. Obviously EDM tracks are going to sound good, but hip-hop tracks, also rap tracks, sound really good because of that nice sub bass and mid bass punch and rumble that you get from these drivers. They could be quite enjoyable for that, especially because they're just not fatiguing at all. The treble isn't emphasized in any way, really. Vocals are a little bit pushed back, but they're not completely gone. You can still get nice sounding vocals, but you're not getting a ton of detail in the higher frequencies, which obviously these aren't meant to be audiophile type of headphones. Even just for the price, they're only $170 MSRP. Of course, it's not what OneOdio is going for, but in terms of a general consumer type of sound signature, these do fairly well, and you can listen to them for a long time just because they're just not fatiguing at all. And they can be very fun to listen to if you really like bass. So if you're into a more warm, darker, bassy type of presentation for your music, or you listen to a lot of EDM or hip hop, I think these really could be quite good. Also, rock does fairly well, but you would want a little bit more treble emphasis for some of those specific instruments, but they do quite well, and I think most people will find them decent in the sound department, especially paired with the overall nice comfort, the lightweight build. They could be a nice do-it-all daily driver. They don't have noise canceling, so you're not getting any type of, the only noise isolation you're getting is with the pads themselves. Thankfully, they do isolate a good amount of noise. And if you're sensitive to the pressure that noise canceling headphones or earbuds can give you, then this could be a good option if you want something that isolates the noise a little bit better than something with maybe fabric pads or leatherette ear pads that don't trap in sound as well. So these could be a good option there. And like I said, just the connectivity options are crazy. You can really connect them any way you want through the transmitter, Bluetooth, wired. OneOdio really gave people a lot of options with this one, and given the consumer-friendly type of sound signature, I think most people will find these particularly pleasing, especially with the good comfort, good materials, the little travel bag. I think they did a pretty good job on this one. Now, would I use it over my Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra headphones or a Sennheiser open back for daily music listening? Probably not, but for specific use cases, I think this could be a really good option for a lot of people. And I quite like it overall as a product. I think it's an interesting product. It might be a little bit niche with a lot of things it's trying to do, but just as a general casual daily driver headphone, I think it's solid. The only issue is that it's in a competitive price point, especially with how good budget headphones are getting. Budget audio products are just really taking over the market and they're becoming really good. So that may be the only issue I think OneOdio will have, but I think they did a good job with these and I'm interested to see what they do in the future. If you guys have checked these out, let me know. I'll have a link below if you want to check these out on Amazon, and I'll see you guys in the next one.